morning, everyone. Back for another video on a beautiful, balmy Monday. I hear it might rain over the next day or so, and, well, let's keep our fingers crossed. I wouldn't mind a little bit of rain. Anyhow, so today, I wanted to get into this whole Kavanaugh thing again with maybe a little bit of a different take. I'm sure there are a lot of you out there that might have had thoughts along the same lines, but let's just dive right into it. Okay, now I've been following this Kavanaugh Ford story, maybe not as closely as I should in order to have all of the relevant information, but I just want to give you this time a rundown of my perspective of Miss Christine Blasey Ford. Now, I've noticed that in the media and in the Senate hearing, they keep referring to Ford not only as a victim, but a potential pawn used by the Democratic Party for the purpose of stalling the vote for Kavanaugh to get on the Supreme Court and keep that seat open, right? They keep using those terms. Pawn, used, stalling, you know. So, I want to explain the difference between a pawn, someone who is being used by other people, and an accomplice. Yes, Christine Blasey Ford is not a pawn. She is not being used. She is an accomplice. She is willfully and deliberately assisting the effort to stall the nomination to the Supreme Court and to keep that seat open. So hopefully the Democrats can get anybody else but Kavanaugh in there. Now, it just strikes me as curious that they haven't thought far enough ahead to realize that if they do succeed in voting Kavanaugh out, that Trump's next pick is going to be a radical far-right guy. And they definitely don't want that. Nobody wants that. I don't know who it would be, but knowing Trump, well, judging from his past behavior, it would not surprise me at all if that were his reaction. Okay, you don't want Kavanaugh? Well, here you go. How about this guy? And he's going to recommend somebody that's just completely extreme far right, radical right. Okay? And the chances that that person will get in are going to be pretty good because they can't just have an open seat after the midterms indefinitely. No, they've got to fill it. And so if Trump's first pick doesn't get in, well, yeah, good luck with that second pick, I say. But who knows? We'll see what happens. So now let's examine Miss Christine Ford's testimony. And, well, not her testimony per se, but her behavior. One of the things that is obvious that she does is she upspeaks. Okay? Kind of like a teenager. You know, a teenager with a lot of insecurities. At least that's my take. Anytime somebody has that uptick in their voice when they're talking about any particular topic, and it keeps on going up and up and up, that either speaks to great insecurity or, in my mind, it speaks to a liar. That's the behavior of a liar. I'm also getting sick of that term that the media is starting to use more and more frequently. Not being truthful? No, not being truthful is the same as lying, okay? If you're not being truthful, you're lying. Simple as that. So why not shorten it and just cut right to the chase and call the person what they are, a liar. And Christine Blasey Ford is a liar. Now, another thing the media is doing is saying, well, something happened to her, obviously. Everybody's saying, even Kavanaugh is saying, I have no doubt something happened to her at some point, but everybody's determining, okay, yeah, something happened to her, but it wasn't Kavanaugh. So when and where this something may have or may not have happened to her is always shifted to. The focus is always shifted to that. I say bullshit. Nothing has ever happened to that lady. Except this. Remember, Kavanaugh's mother was also a judge, and the media sort of glosses over the fact that Kavanaugh's mother ruled against Christine Blasey Ford's parents in a foreclosure dispute. Now, as you know, Blasey Ford is from Maine, I believe. From the East Coast, Northeast Coast. But she lives here in California. And she owns a house in, I believe it's Palo Alto, one of the most expensive counties in the entire nation. Houses, the median, sale price for a house is well over $1 million. Multiple millions of dollars. Super expensive place. And she lives there. So she's here. You've got a wealthy, very accomplished, very bright lady who claims that she can't fly, yet somehow she can fly to Hawaii. Somehow she can go on vacation to Tahiti. She can fly across the equator, where there's a lot of turbulence when you cross the equator and you're up in the air. She can handle that. Maybe she needs a doggy bag, maybe not, but the fact is she can still do that, but somehow she can't fly out to the East Coast, right? She pretends to be surprised that they were willing to come here to California to talk to her. Now, maybe she was unaware of that. That part did seem sort of genuine. But mixed up with everything else, I have to put that in the basket of bullshit. You did know. You could have made accommodations. They were trying to accommodate Ford, and to say that she didn't realize that when it was all over national news for a couple of days. What, does the lady never tune into the radio? Does she never go online to check the news? Does she not have an RSS feed on her phone? I'm sure she does. I am almost positive she does. So, rather than saying that Christine Blasey Ford is the victim of something somewhere at some point in time, and that she's a pawn being used by the Democratic Party, is absolute bullshit. She is a willing and deliberate accomplice to this effort. And I say it's motivated out of revenge. Now, foreclosure disputes can get quite expensive, especially if there's a lengthy court process. That's a lot of money wrapped up in that. Now, if her parents are equally as wealthy as she is, which they are, no doubt, then they probably have one or more homes that are worth a lot of money. And foreclosure disputes, if they lose a foreclosure dispute, well, that could cost them millions. So, you tell me, do you think Ford is being used, or do you think she stepped up to the plate and went, yeah, this is my chance to get a little dig at the family who ruled against my mom and dad? I say it's revenge. I say Christine Blasey Ford is a very smart woman, malicious woman, deceitful liar of a woman, and she knows exactly what she's doing. Whether or not she was coached to wear those big goofy red glasses, or whether she came up with it on her own, that's a very good support prop to paint her as this innocent little victim who just doesn't know what's going on, and she knows she was traumatized at some point, and she's absolutely certain it was Kavanaugh. She just can't remember when, where, or how. No, I'm sorry. Those glasses don't fool me, lady. They make her look like an idiot, if you ask me. But it also makes her look like some kind of little weak, cowering, sniveling, poor, innocent little pathetic puke. I hate victims. I mean, most people say, oh, victims, you gotta feel sorry. No, I don't feel sorry for victims. I'm sorry, I just don't feel sorry for victims. Now, victims of that sort. Now, real victims. Yes, I have sympathy for. Do I feel sorry for them? Not necessarily. Because there's a lot of factors that go into making a victim, right? I was the victim of a false rape accusation that almost got me killed. But you know what? I don't think of myself as a victim, and here's why. Because if I had been smart, I could have avoided allowing myself to be in a situation where there was the potential for an accusation to be leveled against me. Well, of course, I guess nobody is really that smart at 18, 19 years old. But be that as it may, Christine Blasey Ford is not a pawn. She's not being used. She's a willful accomplice. And I think somebody needs to call that out. And so far, I haven't seen anybody do that. So, yes, I say it's based on revenge. And you won't find anybody in the media saying this. You won't find anybody on the Senate saying this. You'll only find people on social media saying this. So, for what it's worth, that's my take on Christine Blasey Ford. And now, I'm not so sure that Kavanaugh is going to make it. You know, I really don't know. I was pretty sure in my last video that he would, but obviously they delayed the hearing since then till this next Friday, I believe, and so, not the hearing, the vote. And so, a lot can happen between now and then, and that's exactly what they're hoping for, is for a lot to happen. Time for them to go find something else, invent some other evidence, shall we say. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Rate, subscribe, and I hope you all have a great day. Peace out.